What inspires me about music is it's a getaway place. It's going on holiday from January to December.
Music to me is the direct way of expressing emotions. To me, it can be anything. Music also has the magic to bring people together, and that is very special.
I come from a very musical family, so I've always enjoyed music and it's always been a massive part of my life. You meet really good people. As a career, it's just really fun. It's like going to work with your best friends every day.
I think the best thing I love about being a musician is playing in orchestras and being able to meet lots of interesting people. There's something about working in an enormous team like that, over 100 people for the one big concert. It's really thrilling, really exciting to be part of.
I'm Jonathan Reekie and I'm Chief Executive of Aldeburgh Music. The Aldeburgh World Orchestra must be the most ambitious project that this organisation's ever done, and it's involved everybody here at Aldeburgh Music.
I now understand that there are over 30 countries represented in the orchestra, and that seems to me to be a remarkable achievement.
We are an international arts organisation, and the size of this project reinforces that.
Of course, 2012 is a really important year for us because not only is it the Diamond Jubilee, but it's also the year of the London Olympics. And I don't know whether many people realise this, but of course the Olympics originally was set up not just to celebrate sporting achievement, but also cultural activity as well. And this is a really big feature of the London Olympics. And we've taken this really high-risk, exciting strategy of forming a truly international orchestra. And of course, in many ways, the parallels between music and sport are very similar.
You cannot be a great athlete without strength, experience, fitness and coordination. All those things you need in spades if you're going to be a great musical practitioner as well.
So in many ways, what we're hoping we'll have in the summer is a kind of Aldeburgh Orchestral Olympics.
To understand why this great global musical event is happening here near a small fishing village on the east coast of England, you have to rewind to 1913, to Lowestoft a few miles up the coast, when Benjamin Britten, the great British composer, was born and brought up.
I'm Colin Matthews, composer with a long association with Aldeburgh, and I was very lucky to work with Britten as his assistant during the last 3 or 4 years of his life. Britten was born in Suffolk, and in many ways he never really left it. Although he spent time in the United States at the outbreak of the Second World War, he came back to Suffolk, to Snape. He established the Aldeburgh Festival with peers in 1948. It was an international festival. There were major figures from around the world. And Britten always wanted to encourage the younger generation, particularly composers.
He realised that formal training doesn't stop when you leave music college, but needs to go on as you make your way into the profession. And he started giving young musicians the chance to come and work here with the international stars who were playing at his festival.
Later in their lives, it seemed natural to them to want to found a school, and although it didn't really get going until after Britten's death, the basis of it had been there from the start.
The Aldeburgh World Orchestra is really holding to Britain's values, and not only is it playing a couple of programmes of really difficult, challenging orchestral music, but it's also going to be interacting with local people. We've got Suffolk school children meeting some of its members to sort of compare their cultural backgrounds. They'll be making some sound installations. We've invited some teenage young composers here to write fanfares for it, which will be performed as the torch relay comes through Aldeburgh before the Olympics begins. And then, of course, because new music is such an important feature of our work here, we've commissioned a new piece from the composer Charlotte Bray, and that piece will be premiered for the first time at the BBC Proms on the first Sunday of the Olympics, so it's a really exciting prospect.
Inspiration for me comes from many different places. Part of the inspiration for this piece comes from a poem by Dora Maar, as well as the Aldeburgh landscape.
It is quite nerve-wracking having a premiere in the Proms, the single biggest audience ever for my music. It's been such a long process since receiving the commission and finding out all the details for it, and then getting very, very excited that it's a Proms commission, and it's a massive opportunity for me. Very exciting, especially with Mark Elder conducting.
I have selected a number of works which I think will in different combinations, make wonderful programs and provide this keen, passionately committed young orchestra the platform for their own talents.
It's a really challenging programme. It's really tough to play. And partly because of that, we've invited 30 musicians to come and join us. Here we are at Easter, 4 months to go. And we wanted to meet them, and we wanted them to get a feel for this place and the extraordinary environment so that when they come in July, they're ready to go.
Performing with the AWO is going to be a mind-blowing experience.
It's probably one of the most exciting projects I've ever been doing.
The opportunity to meet all sorts of interesting people, other musicians from all over the world.
It's quite nice to kind of draw that all together.
When you come here, who you are filters through, because music is almost like what you're doing is who you are.
We have been recruiting for the last 3 years from all over the world. I've been travelling all over to make sure that we target all areas of the globe. And we then created a new online platform and auditioned artists via YouTube. They submitted solo works as well as set extracts, which they could get online. And the auditions were about 10 to 15 minutes in length for each candidate.
Auditioning via YouTube and to make it into a video was really difficult because we have to do everything all in one take.
You know, as a classical musician, you kind of get trained to do this, do a live audition. You go in, sometimes there's a screen in front of you, sometimes there's not.
It's quite unusual because it's obviously to a camera, not a panel.
Because when you are in front of a jury, you can feel some feedback from them, and when you're auditioning in front of a video, it's just you and the camera, and you have no reference.
So in a way, the video audition is a bit more frustrating.
But it was really good because you could reflect on your playing and sort of hear and what you could do better and like what you could take out and what you could put in. So it was a really good process. For me, it really worked.
The process of listening to close on to 600 auditions thoroughly and really weighing up how you balance the various sections and put together an orchestra that's also representative of the whole globe has been a pretty epic project, but amazing.
The AWO is a really exciting project, but it has led us to some problems because of just housing that many people in Aldeburgh during the height of the holiday season. What we find with the students is that it tends that different sections of the orchestra like to stay together, so the woodwind like to be together if they can, and the brass, we tend to put those slightly on the edge because they tend to be the bad boys of the orchestra.
The challenges of having a truly global and international orchestra is ensuring that they've got all the right certification to be able to gain entry without being stopped by an overexcited UK border agent. Am I confident that there won't be a 3 a.m. phone call from a border agency? No, I'm sure there will be, but we have all the right answers, so with any luck, we'll get everyone in smoothly.
I think what happens in Aldeburgh now would have amazed Britten, that is doing so much of what he believed in, this extraordinary expansion of year-round activity of young people, of residencies. It's exactly what he would have wanted and what his plans were.
And the idea of this extraordinarily diverse and really talented group coming here to the Suffolk coast to make amazing music is just a really unprecedented and special opportunity for us.